But let's move into the next topic, and if you are not watching us on YouTube, head over to youtube.com/most valuable podcast reel. Is that the actual
Most Valuable Podcast Reel?
Head over to Most Valuable Podcasts Reel. There's an S after podcast. We are closing in on 1,500 subs, and you could see the lovely graphics that we put up for this segment. But this is our weekly segment, our favorite segment of the Fast Break. It is Wet Boys. We're talking about the dampest of dude. It's the soggiest of shooter. It's the moistest of men.
What is going on with your asses over there?
This is Wet Boys. Ricky, this was a pretty hard week, at least for me. So why don't you take it through your thought process and let us know who your Wet Boy is.
Well, my process had three players. The first one I went to was Klay Thompson because he had a 44-point game. Then I saw the 9-point game he had last night and went, sorry, Klay, I can't give it to you.
Yeah.
But then I saw Steph had a good game, and I was like, wait, what did he do in the other game? Ooh, only 11 points. Steph, you did not do. So I couldn't give it to the Warrior that I was trying to go third week in a row, giving it to a Warrior. I got to give it to the guy the night we recorded last week's podcast.
The next Steph Curry.
Hit the shot, heard round the world, lost the ball, shot it up, ran like he just beat West Virginia when he was back at Oklahoma. Buddy Hield, the Wooden Award winner, putting some respect on it, and also letting them Kangs fans get their first. I think this is the first Wet Boy I know for Buddy Hield. I think it might be the first Kangs player.
De'Aaron Fox
got a Wet Boy too. All right, second one.
I was thinking about that today.
That was when we gave it to the Warriors too, wasn't it?
Yeah, and you know who's on Detroit? Former Warrior great.
Yep,
Zaza Pachulia.
There you go.
But I was thinking about this today. I don't think we've covered every single team with our Wet Boys. I cannot think of a team that we have not covered. And going back through it, I mean,
the Cavs,
LeBron.
Oh,
Last
all
year.
time.
All time.
Okay.
Yeah, all time. Not this year, but all time. I think also what?
No, I'm trying to
Pelicans?
think.
Oh, I thought you were looking at
Well,
like a
the
bug over there.
Pelicans, AD.
No.
Yeah, AD.
It's still there.
Also, Drew was
The
one.
Hawks?
Hawks.
Have we given Trey?
Vince Carter, I think, was one of them. I'm not kidding. I think Vince Carter was. If not, I think Taurean Prince was last year. I think I'm correct on that.
The Knicks? No,
Yeah.
we did.
The
Mike
Knicks, KP.
Yeah.
Beasley.
And Kristaps.
Easy.
Kristaps had two.
Yeah.
So we've covered every single team. If you can find a team,
Joe Ingles.
start thinking
was
of
the
them.
Jazz.
Donovan Mitchell as well. Suns have Devin Booker. You know,
Yeah.
Clippers had Tobias Harris. Memphis did. We had Dylan Brooks as one of them.
That's right.
I also believe. I think he's the only one so far was Dylan Brooks for Memphis.
Not
Reek
Conley
might
or
have had one
Gasol.
too. What?
Not Conley or Gasol.
No, because Conley was hurt last year, and I don't think we've ever given one to any Gasol. For that matter of fact. But yeah,
I think you're right.
I think we've covered every single
How
team.
about the Heat?
The Heat? Oh,
I think the Heat might be the only team.
shit.
Did we not get Winslow?
Not this year.
No.
I don't think we've
Wow.
given it to
Okay.
the
Yeah.
Heat.
The Heat's the only team that has not
All
been.
right.
What?
Winslow probably deserved one earlier this year, but
Yeah, nothing in the playoffs last year too. Hold on.
All
Let's check
right.
that. No, Winslow hasn't deserved one yet.
he had pretty good
let's
streak
see.
games starting as a point guard.
But comparatively to
Oh,
other.
I know. There's been some
Yeah,
blowout
no,
performances.
okay, that's the one team is the Heat. We have not given one to the Heat. So the Heat are the only team without a Wet Boy.
All right.
Glad we had this discussion. But Dave, we were fighting a little bit over one of them. We didn't end up going with them.
No.
So we should at least give a nominee or a little what's it
honorable
called?
mention.
Honorable
Absolutely.
mention to Jahlil Okafor, who had his most impressive, efficient 3 straight games in his whole career. You can look back at his rookie year, and he had a couple games with more points per game, but he was never this efficient. Shot 72% from the field, averaging 18 a game. But we both didn't end up going with him. You took my other option, and tell us about him.
Yeah. I took a guy who a lot of people forgot about this year because he's playing on a trash team in Detroit right now. But Blake Griffin has had a revelation of a year. He's putting up right now ridiculous numbers. This past week, he put up 35, 8, and 5. 52 from the field, 45 from 3 on volume, people. Like, he is playing his mind out. And it's sad because they don't have a point guard, and there's no real help for him.
Well, and the crazy thing, too, is I was thinking about this today. You look at his career. He came in loved because he was, phenomenal, highlight real player out of Oklahoma. Super likable, was, had a ton of charisma. And then he kind of, started wearing on fans in LAC when he started, he punched the guy outside in Toronto. Then he was pushing the I think the trainer into his crotch or something like that. And he was on the Clipper team with Chris Paul, and people didn't really like Chris Paul, so that kind of came off. And then people kind of forgotten about him in Detroit.
Oh, his injury problems as well throughout his years.
I think he might be the most underrated player right now in the NBA.
Probably is.
I don't know who else you could throw out there as an argument for more underrated than Blake Griffin for what he's doing.
I mean, I'm going to say not underrated player, but I'm talking about just Wet Boys. There is one person.
No, not Giannis. Giannis isn't underrated.
Okay, well, he's underrated Wet Boys because he only got one.
Well, that's you could if you want to make him feel better.
Solution.
Yeah, you're a part of the team. You're picking Buddy Hield over
I'm just
saying,
hey, Buddy Hield deserved it.
Big like Clay, shoots like Steph.
Yeah, I mean, he deserved it.
But I think
Can't argue with that logic.
I think the case for Blake Griffin being underrated
it's fantastic.
is there. But let's go to mine. We're going to go to the obvious one first. It's James Harden. 49 points per game, 4 assists, 3 steals, 45% from 3, and somehow 37% shooting from 3, although he went 5 of 20 in the game where he put up 61 against the Knicks. He's closing in on 82 if he can ever be efficient in any of these games where he can shoot from the outside. He gets 5 more threes there. That's 15 points. He's up at 76. So I mean, he is extremely close to breaking Kobe's record.
But Chris Paul coming back.
But I mean,
for how long?
For how long? And also, do you want to stop this? I mean, how much will Chris Paul change the way that they're playing? Because right now he's had 268 straight points unassisted.
Yeah.
I mean, it might get the ball in his hands just more efficiently.
Maybe.
He might start making the shots more efficiently. And I don't know. He's on this unstoppable streak. Would you go away from him?
Yes. And the reason why I say that is Chris Paul and James Harden, #1 seed last year. Just James Harden, 5th seed.
They also had this guy Clint Capella last year, not playing so much this year.
And he's injured right now.
And also, look at the way that they started the season with Chris Paul. Was not good. Until he left, they started skyrocketing because of James Harden. It's the reason why he was the MVP.
Carmelo Anthony was there too.
Carmelo wasn't that big of a factor. He wasn't that big of a factor.
Hey man, he was shooting those threes in that Lifetime gym, man.
Well, and hey, now he's a Bull, so congratulations.
Well, not for long.
No, he is a Bull officially.
Hanging in the Raptors. Anyway, the Raptors are Raptors.
The Raptors.
Before you go into your Wet Boy, here's a question for both of you.
Yeah.
Who's the better Melo, Atlanta Melo or Chicago Melo?
Chicago Melo.
He has longevity.
They both never played it. He both never played a game for either.
But longevity. I mean, he wasn't even a Hawk for a day. I mean, right now Carmelo's got 5 days.
This is the prophecy. We wanted him years ago, and now he's returned.
I also love
it's just like Dwayne Wade.
I also
wait for Chris Bosh. He'll be here.
I also love how Jim Boylan had to answer questions about Carmelo Anthony.
Oh, he fits on the team.
Great.
Anyways, this award should just be named after James Harden at this point because he's had 6 straight Wet Boys or something like that. Something stupid.
Reason not to
like 3.
He's now at 7. 7 right now in the season tally. Second place is D Rose, AD, Steph, all with 3. My actual Wet Boy though is going to be Paul George. 30 points per game, 7 total rebounds, 5 assists, 45% from the field, 30% from 3. Also, check these steal numbers: 2.5 per game. He's been phenomenal, and the Thunder are on a 4-game win streak. So that was the biggest thing. I was looking at Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid had 34 points, 13 rebounds, but they lost the game to OKC. You look at Ben Simmons. He had 16, 10, and 10. I like the symmetry there, and they again lost to OKC. And also I was looking at Russell Westbrook because he was somewhat efficient and averaged a triple-double, but I ended up going with Paul George just because he's been a monster all season, and he continued it.
You know what's the interesting thing about Paul George?
What's that?
And I only got this from the official Russell Westbrook hater and Colin Cowherd. Apparently, when you look at the best games this year for Westbrook and Paul George, in Westbrook's best games, I think the team is 7-7 in the last 14 of them. With Paul George, his last best 14 games, they're 12-2. When Paul George is on fire, the Thunder have won.
Russell Westbrook had a triple-double number. It was when he triple-doubles, they have a 70-something% win chance or something ridiculous. So I don't know what Colin Cowherd's defined as a best game, but I do know that
he had a graphic.
Russell Westbrook on a triple-double means they're going to win.
It's probably just leading scorer of the team or something like that.
Well, it's also when Westbrook doesn't take a ton of shots. When Westbrook takes a ton of shots, they lose.
I mean, that just makes
what's
sense. Then his field goal percentage goes up because he's probably taking higher percentage shots, or he's just taking less amount of shots that are going to hurt you.
Yep.
And he's also moving the ball around, which he's so great at doing. But anyways, that's going to do it for Wet Boys this week. Any final thoughts on James Harden, Blake Griffin, Paul George, or Buddy Hield?
I feel like after a while it's going to be useless to do it if James Harden keeps doing what he's doing.
I mean, that's why we're just not even picking him anymore. He's just a shoo-in.
Yep.
When does he get shoot out? If he's a shoo-in now, when does he get shoot out? When he starts scoring 20 points again?
When he's under 40.
When he gets to like 15 Wet Boys in a row, it's like, okay, we're going to make our own award for James Harden.
Mathematically eliminated everyone else.
I think he already has.
No, I don't know. He's like...
Well, AD's injured.
Ricky can pick Steph Curry everywhere. He cannot feel guilty.
We can pick the Warriors. Like the Warriors can have a good game. I can pick the Warriors.
He's still rocking the Steph twos.
See,
right?
at least when I picked the Suns, it was actually funny because they were a
The
horrible
Warriors
team.
had a great
and they had,
game.
Who gives a shit? They're the Warriors. They have 5
I almost
All-Stars.
picked Boogie last week.
No one cares.
I mean,
But you would have had 2 Wet Boys to start.
That was
Free Ja is my ending thought.
Ja.
Free Ja.
That's like Free Ja. Maybe he'll get traded to a contender. Put him on Los Angeles.
Are you kidding me? He's perfect where he's at.
Well, but when AD comes back, he's gonna get time.
Nico is going to get moved if he's healthy before the trade deadline. But
what if he doesn't?
Happen.
And what if they move Ja to the Lakers?
Oh my God.
That's what I'm saying. Meme team continues. Let's move now to a fantasy update. We are in 5th place right now.
Hey.
85.5 points, I believe, is where we currently sit. Let me get the standings. Still at number 1 is Philadelphia 76ers. Shout out Kyle Craig. In bottom place is Kansas City Team Kraft at 21 points. Poor Kraft. I remember when he was drafting the team and he picked all the young guys. Young guys haven't paid off too far. He does, I believe, though, have our boy. No, he doesn't have Luka, but he does have Mo Bamba. He does have Justice Winslow. He has Jonathan Isaac, Markkanen.
He's got a 2K team.
Kevin Knox, DeAndre Ayton, Jalen Brown. Oh, and he has Depot too.
Straight up 2K team.
And Dennis Smith. So shout out to Kraft though for still playing in this league. We'll go to the where we sit though. We're 4th in field goals made. We have climbed a little bit in field goal percentage. We are now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th in field goal percentage.
Hey.
9th in free throw percentage. We are tied for 3rd in 3-pointers made. We are about 7th in 3-point percentage. Rebounds, we are number 1. Assists, we are number 3. Steals, we are 2. Blocks, we have gone down, unfortunately. We are sitting at about 7th. And then points, we are in 5th. We were at 87.5. Now we're down at 85.5. So that's the fantasy update. Any moves we should be making, guys? What
was our move last week?
We dropped Justin Howard, I believe.
Yes.
Thankfully.
He was underperforming quite a bit on that Memphis Grizzlies team.
This is a nightmare to actually maneuver on this website. What the hell? Who did we pick up? Oh, Derek White Jr.
Yeah.
Picked up Derek White.
And he had a good game following our pickup, too. He continued on his good trend, which is nice. I always feel like we like jinx players when we pick them up, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's had 2 bad games, I think, since we picked him up.
Yeah, there we go.
6 points and 9 points, but he's had 18, 15, and 15 as well. So
nice.
Shout out to Derek White. We do also have Boogie. He's been playing well so far. So, I mean, shout out to DeMarcus. I mean, I'm glad we kept him on our bench, but I don't know if he's going to be enough for a run. So any guys that you see out there that are available, that might be available for a run.
I don't see anybody right now I'm in love with. It's one of those things where I think as the trade deadline comes up, some rosters are going to get shaken up, and then there's going to be some real gems right after that.
What do we think about Nerlens?
Ooh.
He is back. He has played.
Cleared. Yep.
I'm looking for blocks. He hasn't done much recently, but he hasn't been getting a ton of minutes. 12, 12, 20, 12, and 12 in his last 5.
Yeah. I mean, he's always going to be when Steven Adams needs a breather. But he is one of the best big defenders in the NBA. One of the best rim protectors. I don't know if it's worth it because of the limited minutes, though. What are we exchanging out for him at that point?
I don't know. Trae Young has sucked ass. Just sucked big ass. He's still under 39. He's at 39.5 field goal percentage. 3-point percentage at 28.5. He's been brutal. I mean, he still gets assists and points, which is, good. He shoots 80% from the free throw line, which is good as well. But is he hurting our team too much? And then also looking at bigs who don't block shots. Do we still need to have B-elites on the team? Because he has kind of fallen off.
He's returned to the normal.
one play, I'm going to throw him out again because in the last week he hasn't had a terrible week, especially like with field goals made and stuff. D Wade, he's only had one bad game, and that was the one against Boston where he went 3 of 10. Like other than that,
But how is D Wade going to help us?
what I'm saying is like he's in 3 of those games, 10 of 14, 5 of 11, 6 of 14, to where it's like the field goals made, the percentage is there, and he's making a quality amount of them.
Yeah, but
He's getting some assists too. He's actually, yeah.
So
Last 5 games, what's his assist numbers?
His assist numbers for the
Who
last
would we
5
drop?
were 4, 8, 7, 6, and 4.
All right, do you want to drop Bielitsa and Vonleh? Noah Vonleh? He has been getting us blocks, but he's kind of fallen off a little bit. So we drop Nerlens and Bielitsa, and then pick up D Wade and Nerlens Noel.
You sound real sure of yourself.
This is a democracy. You seem in on the D Wade thing, Dave. Ricky is obviously in on the D Wade thing.
And if it doesn't work, we just drop him after a few days. Like
Bielitsa, what's his last couple looked like? Not so hot, I take it.
No, he has not scored over 5 points in the past 4 games. He had
Say it, Ricky.
5 minutes.
I know you want to.
No. I was gonna say
No.
if Josh Jackson didn't have a poopy game against the
I'm not picking him up.
Trailblazers,
Not picking
like
him up.
he had 15 and 27. Like he had 2 good games, and that was like if he didn't have that
Then
last
he
game,
is who we thought he was.
I'd rather pick up D Wade.
D Wade, then. Let's do D Wade.
All right.
Nerlens, I leave it in your hands.
We're dropping Vonleh. We're picking up
or
Nerlens.
do we pick up Reek now that Oladipo?
Oh, shit.
Is he available?
Yes.
right here. Tyreek Evans.
Yeah, we're picking up Reek over.
And he is
I
healthy
say
right now, yes.
Reek and D Wade.
No, we need
over
blocks.
Nerlens and
We need blocks. I think Reek over D Wade.
It's hard to argue with that, actually, right now.
All right, cool.
I'm cool with that.
All right, so
Sean just didn't want to pick up D
Good
Wade.
eye on Reek.
we dropped Bielitsa. Hey, that's your fault for bringing up Tyreek Evans.
Well, I want to win. That's more important.
All right, well, there you go. So I'm making winning moves here. We dropped Nemanja Bielitsa. I think that's how it's pronounced.
It's somebody will tell us.
Nemanja
in the
Bielitsa and Noah Vonleh, and picked up Nerlens Noel and Tyreek Evans. Is that how you pronounce Tyreek Evans?
We've got someone exclusively in our comment section for these videos
I think
who
it's
tells us how to
Tariq.
pronounce names and gives us fantasy advice.
Yeah,
Sean.
it's,
Come on.
I think it's Tariq Evans.
Oh. Yeah, it's,
Sean, he's our buddy. Talk to him literally every week.
Bonani, yeah.
Yep.
So shout out to everybody who helps us with fantasy advice, and then shout out to our WET Boys, Paul George, James Harden, Blake Griffin, and Buddy Hield.